Right, here we are again. Hang on, where's my microphone? Let's get it over here a little bit. It's a little bit echoey in here for some reason. Welcome back, everybody. If you didn't see yesterday's video, it is on my channel, ready to rewatch. I will put a link in the description of this video though to it, and I'll probably. Right, here we are again. Hang on, hang on a minute. I've got stuff going on here. Over here a little bit. It's a little bit echoey in here for some reason. Welcome back, everybody. Right. If you didn't see yesterday's video, it is on my channel, ready to rewatch. That's better. I will put a link in the description of this video though. Testing 1 2. I'll probably. Hang on, hang on a minute. I've got stuff going on here. Oh, here we go. The first of today's technical issues. I'm hearing a delayed version of myself, and I don't know why. Ready to rewatch. Oh dear, that's not good. Testing 1 2. Oh, here we go. The first of today's technical issues. I'm hearing a delayed version of myself, and I don't know why. Oh no, that's what it is. There you go. Right. Okay. Yeah, Paul turned down the sound from YouTube. Yeah, you're right. Duh. Right, so that's all sorted out now. Okay, so if you didn't see yesterday, or you don't know who I am or what this is about, I'm Jason, better known as DJ UFO in the hardcore, UK hardcore community. Yesterday I started a brand new remix of a bit of a hardcore classic called Breathe, which is by Storm Euphony. So yesterday's live stream was 5 hours long, and it was basically me starting the remix from absolutely nothing up to the point where we left it, which you're just about to see once my Cubase loads. So here we go. Right, Breathe UFO remix. Bowl. Inception. Yeah, Paul. Which layer am I in? If you hear some background noise on my microphone, it's my air conditioner. Not much I can do about that, because without it I'll just start to melt, so it's there's not much I can do, I'm afraid. So I do apologise. Is this ever going to load or what? Okay, here we are. This is where we were left off from yesterday. Let me just check everything out. It's all cool on there. Okay, right. So the best place to start, really, obviously I've not heard this since yesterday, so I'm going to play it from the top and see what we've got. I hope I don't hate it.
I'm hearing you breathe. Different boy, a different girl. We come from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me. Thought our love could never be. Now we're walking hand in hand. Across the sea, across the sand. In the darkness of the night, I'm hearing you breathe, I'm feeling alright. Different boy, a different girl. We come from different.
Okay, yeah, quite liking it so far. That main riff yesterday I wasn't too sure about, but actually listening to it now, quite like it. So, right, one little issue that I just spotted, it's not a massive deal, but on this sound here, let me solo it. So that third note just sounds a little bit off to me. I reckon if I that's what I want to do. What's that sound like? So I've just spotted some of these notes are hanging over each other. If you see that, I don't know if you can see that on your screens. Let me make it bigger so you can see it. See, this one is hanging over the beginning of this one. Now, it's not a major issue. It won't really matter that much because there's a lot of release on this sound. However, I'm a little bit anal about things like that. So all I do is I select everything, which is on a Mac, Control A. No, Command A, sorry. On a PC, it'll probably be Control A, wouldn't it? And there's a shortcut in Cubase, which is Command T, which will make all the note lengths the same as whatever the grid is. So in this case, they're 1 bar. I don't want 1 bar because we've got shorter notes in that. So the quickest way to do a short one, like 16ths, Command T, which shortens each note to a 16th note. And then all I've got on mine, I don't know if it's the default, but there's a shortcut OW, which is legato, which means it lengthens all the notes up to the next beginning note, and it just neatens it up. Just keep things neat and tidy all the way through as much as you can, because it can save you headaches later on. So that I've done that one. So now obviously I've got to replace these other ones. Now this one's got automation on in it for the filter. There we go. I don't know whether I've got it set to. Yeah, I have. I've got it set there. It copies whatever automation's with the part. I know you can turn that off, but I can't be. I don't really want to be bothered with all that. So what I'll do is select all the notes in the one I've just changed. Command C for copy. Select that. Put the cursor on it. Open it up. Select all and then paste. Oh no, that didn't work. Sorry. Select all, then delete, then Command V, which is paste. And it just pasted the notes. And then that way it keeps the automation. It's a bit of a workaround, but you know, that's the way it goes. And I'll have to do it on all these now. So I mean, it's pretty quick to do. It's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? But oops. There you go. Right, so now let's see what that sounds like in the track. No, it sounds terrible. I don't know what I was thinking there. Hold on a minute. Those notes will have to change. So it'll be let's have that back down. It's all going wrong, people. Hold on a minute. I will figure this out. That's what I like. Yeah, that's good. My bad. So we select all, Command C for copy. Move on to the next one. Oh, by the way, if you see me selecting a part and doing that, that's P on the keyboard. It's a keyboard shortcut which just encapsulates whatever you've selected. So if I selected those three, you get the left and right cursor. And then you can loop it when it's blue. On mine it's blue because I've coloured it that way. I don't know what the default is. That means it's cycling, so it will just play to the end and then continually loop. Turning that on and off is the / key on your keypad. Pretty handy to know. I know the Steinberg have given you this range tool, which essentially does the same job but quicker. However, I'm so used to doing it how I do it, because I've been doing it since Cubase version 1, 20 odd years ago. I just haven't got into the range tool. It's something I just never think to use. I should use it, I don't, but it's just the way it is. So I'm so used to doing it that way. But you can use the range tool or whatever tool it is in your DAW that does the same job. So I've copied the notes, the correct notes, and this is the next part. So we open up the key editor, select all, delete, and then paste. I know it's slow. I know I'm fully aware there's quicker ways of doing this. Okay, let's listen again. I think that's how it was before, wasn't it?
I'm here different boy, a different girl.
Alright, we'll leave it like that for now. I might change it again later, you never know. One thing I wanted to try is a bit of harmonies on this. Let me zoom in a bit, put it on. You can change the grid on Cubase. If you notice, if you see these divided lines, they're changing from 1 bar to half a bar, quarter of a bar, eighth, 16th, 32, all the rest of it. They are the number keys, not the number pad, not the keypad on the right hand side of the keyboard. The numbers along the top of your keyboard correspond to the different size snaps. So 1 is 1 bar, 2 is half a bar, 3 is a quarter, 4 and so on and so forth. So another little handy shortcut to know. So the quickest way to do it, well, is it the quickest way? Probably not. Let's just draw them in. I think they should be in G. Why is that not coming out? I don't understand why that's not playing. I don't know what's occurring there. I don't know whether it's missing the... No, that's very strange. What a weird thing to happen. Select all. On my keypad, it's V, which fixes all the velocities to the same, to a set default. I don't understand why that note's not playing. Let's just copy this note. Wow! Wow! How weird is that? Wish all the parts starting on the bar exactly. No, look at this. Right, so this is one of those things that if you're not experienced, you may come across and you won't find it because it will just be doing your nutting. At some point along this, I've moved something without the snap on and it's dropped it sort of off bar. So is it the beginning of this one? It takes a minute to track it down sometimes, which one's the problem. So that's, you zoom right in and you put your cursor on the actual beginning of the bar. You can see that that starts on the bar. So we know that one's okay. At the end of it, if you put the cursor on the end and zoom in, you'll see that this little bit of shade in there, which means this part's crossing over, which means this one's probably under this one. So let's just move it out of the way for a second. There you go. So at some point I've done a note length, a part length or something without the snap on, because you can turn the grid off like that up here and it gives you free movement. Unfortunately, if you forget sometimes, you get this, and that is why that note's not playing that I was on about. So the thing to do is make sure the grid is on, make sure it's set to a bar. So it snaps to the nearest bar. Turn it on and there you go, it's snapped. Now there was a note hanging over, which when you edit the part length in Cubase, it doesn't edit the notes a lot of the time. Although in this instance I think it has, so I think we're all right. Let me just check that. Let me just undo what I just did. Command Z. Double click it to see where the note ends. It's ending on bar 49, right? Yeah, that's just some weird little glitch then. Okay, so now that's crossing over. Don't forget, we move that out of the way, that's all. We want that back there. I'm hoping that's fixed the problem, because if it's not that, I've just been talking utter tripe. This one's like, you'll find this with audio as well. This is an audio file. You'll find that some of them are weird lengths. You can tidy them up if you want. It's not, like I say, it's not absolutely necessary, but it does help. It can help you out. For some reason, that's not letting me edit it. What is going on here? There you go, see, that's hanging over the end of that bar. This is the sort of stuff that you need to know about, because even though it's the boring stuff, this is the stuff that can create the most problems. I mean, I've had it in the past where I've forgot the grid was turned off and I've moved entire chunks of tune. And, you know, like a whole section, say like that, say I wanted to copy this to there, just say for instance. If you do it with the grid off and you don't notice and you copy it over, and you put it where you think the bar is, you assume it's snapped to that, but it hasn't, right? So if you zoom in, you don't notice until you zoom in. There's the actual bar there, 39. So that is where these should all start. But because I've had the grid off, I've dropped it there. Now, supposing I haven't noticed that, and then I decide to do a copy, which is a Command D, which just copies that like that. It butts this up against this immediately, but of course this one's going to be out of time. So before you know it, you could have a whole section of stuff that goes out of time without you realising it, until you've gone like 3 hours into making the tune. And then you go to do something and then you realise it's happened, and you have to go back through all of it and knock it all back into time. It's an absolute nightmare. So please, please, please try and be aware of the grid. You know, again, like I say, it's so easy to do because I did it on this track. That's why that note wasn't playing. Well, I'm assuming it wasn't. So where are we? It's still not playing, so there's something going on here. I don't know what. I don't know why. I don't know why that's not working. So it works on the loop, it just doesn't work on the... This is the stuff that drives me insane. This is the stuff that really, really drives me mental. Now, is it because this note... Let's just shorten that to there for a second. There you go. One of them freaky things that happens, it takes sometimes, that's just experience. When I first, things like that happens years ago, I've spent hours trying to figure that out, and eventually worked it all out, and it was a nightmare. So be thankful, people. I've just saved you loads of time. If you know if there's something funky going on and something's not playing right, chances are it's a hungover note or some freaky weird thing that you've done without noticing. The first things to check for, what I've just showed you. Right, now we've sorted that, push save. Right. Then also with that sound, there's a bit of a tack on it, which is not really great. So we want to... Let's turn the attack right off and see what that sounds like. Yeah, sounding fine now. So if I just copy those. I don't know where that would go.
I'm hearing you breathe. Different boy.
Now, same old trick. So select all, copy. Select all, delete, paste. I know it's the slow way of doing it. I'm waiting for everyone to go, you can do it quicker than that. I know you can do it quicker than that. I just can't be asked to set it up. Paste. Right, okay.
I'm hearing you breathe.
Do you know what? I don't think I'm going to fade that in. I think I'm just going to have that hitting straight in. Because I'm imagining just before this comes in, I'm imagining some big drum roll in there to make it, to punctuate it, do you know what I mean? Because this is where it drops.
I'm hearing you breathe.
Like that.
I'm hearing you breathe. I'm hearing you breathe. I'm hearing you breathe. I'm hearing you breathe. Different boy, a different girl. We come from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me. Thought our love could never be. Now we're walking hand in hand. Across the sea, across the sand. With the darkness of the night. I'm hearing you breathe. I'm feeling alright.
Yeah, all sounding funky. I like it. I like it. Now this vocal is now. If you remember yesterday, it was a little bit out of time, and I've moved it around a little bit. Now it's all in separate. If you look at it, it's all chopped up into separate sections. Now I know that's all in time. I want to make that into one part really. So you just select all of this is Cubase. I don't know about other DAWs. You select it all, and I've set mine to keyboard shortcut to B for bounce. So you push B and you get this, and it says replace events, and you say yes. Now it's actually a mono vocal, because vocals are mono. You know, you've only got one mouth when you sing. It's a mono signal. This is being bounced out. It looks stereo, but in reality it is mono. Whether it makes a difference to you, I don't know. To me it does. I like to convert it into actual mono because then I know what I'm doing. So in Cubase, the best way to do this is select the audio that you want to convert, and if you push Command F, you get this, the pool. It's called the pool, which is where all your audio goes in your project. Whether you're using it or not, it's in here. Now it's selected, the one that I had selected. It tells you some information. It's set to 170 BPM. It's a 44.1 16-bit stereo file, blah, 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 blah. What you do is you right click it, and then you get this sub menu up and convert files. So click that and you get this little window up. Sample rate, bit depth, channel and file format. You can choose to keep or change it to a different, like for sample rate, I want to keep it as 16-bit. There's no reason to change that. So we'll keep that the same. Bit depth will keep the same because it's 16-bit. 44.1 is what it gets. So don't change those two. Channels, now that's the choice between stereo or mono. Now we know that it's Cubase thinks it's a stereo file because there's two channels, the left and right. But we want to make it mono. So we select mono. And then file format, you can change it from a WAV to a whatever. We want to keep it the same. We don't want to change anything other than the amount of channels. Then you have this little drop down at the bottom. You can keep the original file, so make new files from the conversion, so it will make a new mono file. You can replace it, or you can new and replace in the pool. Just leave it at the default. Oh, it never bothers me. So once you've done that, push OK. Warning, you cannot undo this. Yeah, that's fine. Proceed. Now, close that. What you should see is now it's a mono file, and I will do it if I need to these ones in a bit, but we're just concentrating on this at the moment. So there you go. That is now a mono file. You can also do the reverse. You can get a mono and change it to stereo, but of course beware, you're just getting two channels of the same thing, which still makes it mono. So there you go. Right, so now what I'm finding is obviously it's not mixed at all, this track. So, but at the moment the vocal sounds like it's disappearing. So for the purposes of writing the tune and arranging it and that, because the mix down is a separate process. So for the purpose of this, I'm just going to compress this vocal.
Different boy, a different girl.
Although it is pretty compressed already, you can actually see it in the waveform. It's been clipped. I wish I didn't have that. I want the original vocal with no tuning. No, you know, I'd like to do it from scratch really, but this is what I've been given, so this is what I'm going to have to use. Let's try compressing it. It might sound really rubbish. But now, a compressor I like to use, which, to be fair, is a premium compressor. It's a Universal Audio compressor. So if you haven't got a universal audio interface, you won't have access to this, but you can get different versions of it. I think Waves do one. It's 1176. It's a famous compressor for like an old school. I think they were in the 60s and 70s, these compressors. Waves do a version, I know for sure. I'm sure if you Google 1176 VST, if you Google that, you're bound to find one that isn't a United, I keep saying that, Universal Audio. But this is obviously exclusive to Universal Audio interfaces. Okay, so let's solo it.
Different boy, a different girl. We come.
Okay, so this compressor, I mean, believe me, I'm no expert on compression. I'm not an audio engineer, but pretty simple controls. You have an input control and an output control. The input determines how much compression, i.e. gain reduction is. If you don't know what compression is, I'll do another video about that because it's a sort of subject all on its own. I'll do another tutorial about that at some point, and I'll link you to it in the description of this. Basically, to turn the input up, more signal goes into the compressor, and then it's got a sort of internal threshold, if you like, which, so the amount of compression is determined by the amount of level that's coming in. Now, if you remember yesterday, I said about gain staging your stuff because of plugins just like this. That's why you want the input coming in at a decent level for the plugin. Otherwise, it comes in too hot, and then it confuses the plugin what it's supposed to be doing, and it sort of just chucks everything out of whack. So that was, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the video yesterday, which the link will be in the description when I've finished, and take a look at that, because I do explain about gain staging and stuff like that. So I'll explain what I mean. So with no input, the thing to watch is this needle. The more this needle goes to the left is the more gain reduction. We've got it set to GR. up here, meter, GR, gain reduction. That's the amount of compression we're going to get. All right, so at the moment, no signal. You turn it up.
We come from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me.
Okay, so the signal coming in has been turned up. You're getting a lot of gain reduction, probably too much, to be fair, but I was doing it just to show you what the needle does. You've got gain reduction, although actually it actually physically sounds louder. And that's what this output knob is for. You need to be able to, you need to sort of turn it down so that the levels match of when you bypass it. It's like at the moment, if I bypass it, you get a massive drop in level. The idea is to get that level, but with this amount of compression. So you turn down the output.
Now we're walking hand in hand. Across the sea, across the sand. In the darkness of the night.
Now the idea of compression, again, without getting into it too deep, the idea is that sometimes things can sound to go up and down, especially when they're in the mix with everything else. So sometimes you can lose stuff because it gets a little bit quieter in places and a little bit louder in others. Compression sort of smooths that out. You sort of get a more consistent level. That enables you to like let it sit in the mix better. But as I say, I'll do a separate video about compression. As I say, I'm no expert. You know, it won't be a technical video, but it will explain in a little more depth what it is, why you would need to use compression and what it does and things like that. So I will do that. Okay, so let's play it in context with the track.
Different boy, a different girl. But we come from different worlds.
It's very subtle, but
Thought you'd never notice me.
probably wants to be a little bit louder.
Thought our love could never be. Now we're walking hand in hand.
A little bit again.
Across the sea, across the sand. In the darkness of the night. I'm hearing you breathe, I'm feeling alright. Across the sea, across the sand. In the darkness of.
Now obviously when I level up, when I make the levels the same pre-compressor to post-compressor, it's still very quiet in the mix. So you can use the output as a gain to give you a little bit more level. So it'll be a compressed signal, but you're turning up the compressed signal. So this will be sort of post the compressor.
Different boy, a different. Now we're walking hand in hand. Across the sea, across the sand. In the darkness of.
So in any case, I will redo all this during mix down. You know, most of these effects will be gone because what I do, once I've got the arrangement right and everything's right, I come to do the mix down and I reset the entire desk, the entire mixer, no matter what effects are in here. I usually reset the whole lot and start from scratch, which is another video. But for the purposes of what we're doing, this is all fine. We just want to get the arrangement sort of ready. I don't think, music-wise, I don't think there's anything else that needs to go in. I think we've got the main elements, we've got the main riff, we've got all the pads, we've got a piano. I don't think, we've got a couple of arpeggiated bits. I think that would probably do it for the music. So now once we've done that, we get to that point, obviously we've got to put some drum rolls in, we've got to put some effects type things in, you know, whooshes, booms and up risers and down, all of that sort of stuff. You have to be careful with all that as well, because some people really overdo it, and it just sounds funny. You got to put them in, you know, booms and whooshes and stuff. It's good to put them in selected places, but not like every 8 bars or something like that. So we'll get to that in a bit. We've got this hand clap, which I've just noticed should be in with that lot. Whoops. Right now, so what we've got, oh, we've got the vocal in again. I think, is that not the same vocal?
Different boy, a different girl, I'm from different world. Thought you'd never know, thought our love could never.
Yeah, so we're not going to need that because we've got it already here.
Now we're walking hand in hand, across the sea, across the sand.
That's the second half, isn't it?
Walking hand in hand. Breathe, I'm feeling alright. Breathe, I'm feeling alright. Now we're walking hand in hand.
So we're not going to need that. And what we got here?
Boy, a different girl. Boy, a different girl. Thought our love could never. Boy, a different girl. We come from you never. Thought our love could never.
No, don't need any of that. We can all get all of that from the one vocal we've got. So, right, now the next thing I wanted to address was this vocoder. There is a couple of other vocoder bits I haven't put in this yet, which I will come to in a bit. This just needs a little bit of probably delay on it, I would say. So, right, okay, first rule, my rule anyway, EQ it. Just to get out all the rubbish.
I'm here in your brain. I'm here in your brain. I'm here in your brain. I'm here in your brain.
Delay.
I'm here in your brain. I'm here in your brain.
Ping pong.
I'm
I do
here
like
in
a
your
ping pong
brain.
delay.
I'm here in your brain. 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 I'm here in your brain.
That might do it. It just depends what it sounds like in the track. Didn't gain stage this, did I? I think it's too loud. Yeah, so we go. Where are we? VP 9000. VP 9000. Bring it down by minus 20 dB just to see it. It's usually about right for some reason. Yeah, it's fine. Let's try a slower delay. Yep, it's pretty simple. That's all we need. Now, I've accidentally put volume automation on there, and I hate volume automation because if you turn it down on a fader or up, it throws it back to where. And I don't tend to automate volumes. Now I know that's a cardinal sin amongst studio engineers, but I don't automate my volumes a lot anyway. I do in some instances. Now I can't remember how to delete. I need to remove that automation. I can't just turn the automation off because obviously it will turn the filters that I've got going on. It will turn those off as well. I just need to get rid of the volume information. Does anybody know how to do that? It's not just a case of that, is it? Well, it might be. Hey. There you go, folks. UFO still learning. There you go. You just select all the points and delete them. Bosh.
Different boy, a different girl, but we come from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me. Thought our love could never be. Now we're walking hand in hand, across the sea, across the sand, in the darkness of the night. I'm hearing you breathe, I'm feeling alright.
Okay, looking in good shape, mate. Looking in good shape, I think. Now, the thing with, I'm going to move on to effects, booms, sweeps, whooshes, that sort of stuff. Now, I know a lot, well, there are some people that really take ages picking all these effects and really go into it in sort of a deep way. Now, me being like I am, which I'm pretty sort of lazy, really, I sort of just pick a few out that I just like. You know, I don't usually think to myself, is that uplifter going to actually fit? I'll just put it in there and mix it and bosh, it goes in there. So I tend to just pick tried and tested ones, if I'm honest. I've got, there's loads that are in like the Vengeance sample packs. Now I know they're old, but you're not after any groundbreaking sound here. What you're after is an effect that gives you the effect you want to happen in the track. Now, if it's a boom, you want that boom to have an emotional effect. I know I'm getting arty-farty now, but I am a musician and it is all about emotion. Music is about emotion, even hardcore. You want it to emotionally come across why that sort of boom's in there. And usually it's that feeling of, whoa, do you know what I mean? So obviously if you get the wrong one in there, it doesn't work. So you have to pick the right one. But my experience is once you find a few of the right ones, just keep using them. I've been using the same stuff in tracks for years and years and years, and nobody's ever said to me, well, you know what, Jace, I think you should change those effects a little bit. You know, they sound a bit samey. Nobody cares because they're just booms and whooshes and stuff. They're not inherent to the actual sound of the track, is what I'm trying to get at. Well, that's my take on it. Other producers might completely go against that and say I'm talking rubbish. But that's my take on it. So I'm going to go into my Vengeance packs and I'm going to pick out some old favourites. If you put them in the track in the right places and you mix the track right, it really doesn't matter that much. It really doesn't. You know, people are more interested in the content. They're more interested in the vocal, and whether it makes them dance. You know, I think there is a tendency for people to get a little bit too anal and overthink things with tracks, you know, and I guess in some ways that's a good thing, because they, you know, they get the best of what they do. For me, I haven't got the patience. I just haven't. I just want to get the track at a point where when people hear it, they go, wow, I really like that. Well, hopefully they do anyway. Doesn't always happen, but more often than not, touch wood, tracks I've made in the past, people seem to like. There's not many people that I know of that don't like what I do. So, you know, how anal do you have to be, is what I'm saying. Don't spend your life, you know, spending your life making new sounds and, well, I don't want to use that sound because it's in Nexus. It's like, it's ridiculous. These are all ridiculous arguments. We're making music here. We're making music to make people dance. It's dance music. And if it has that effect when you play it, you just don't have to worry about anything else. It's window dressing. Everything else is window dressing. And there is an element of, especially with the younger producers, where they're trying to impress other producers, because they're doing stuff that only other producers will know what they're doing. The normal sort of person at a rave doesn't have a clue, doesn't want to know. Why would they? They just want to know this is a banger or not. So that's a little rant over. I know I'm going off into a tangent a little bit here. So anyway, right, let's go and get some samples. Samples. Vengeance we want. Vengeance effects, there you go, we're already in there. So we're going to want, first of all, I'm going to find some booms, I think. You know, boom, like a echoey, reverby. So in this pack, I think it's effects kicks. This should preview as I hit it, as I click it. Right, now that one is really good. That's good. That it's a quieter one. It's a more subtle. Just that will go well probably after the intro when the breakdown happens. So we'll drag it in. That's going to be very loud, so we'll actually turn that down a bit. Let's see what it sounds like. Still a bit loud, but you get the message. That really is working for me. Just needed to turn down a little tiny tad. Yep, liking that. Now, obviously, before the boom hits, we're going to want some drum rolls and probably an upriser. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. I've got samples where I've just got the drum rolls, and then separately there's effects. There's ones where the effects and the drum rolls are all together, so you've got a drum roll coming up as well as an upriser. It's just a case of personal preference, really. So we'll go to Vengeance, and we've got Vengeance Ultimate Feels 1 and 3. For some reason I'm missing 2. I don't know why. Okay, so then you've got them all separated into BPMs. Now obviously we're at 170 BPM. These are all 140 and 128. So to avoid time stretching as much, use the 140s. The 128s will work, but you know, it's just a little thing. So we'll go for, what we got? Effects of feels, what's that? These are all 128. That's 4 bars long. Oh, it's a whoosh. Yeah, they're all whooshes. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to those. Hands up and trance fills. And it shows you in this pack whether it's 8 bars, 16 bars. I think we're going to want, let's have a look. So it's going to be 8 bars, right? So we want an 8-bar one. So we just select the ones that are 8 bars and see what they sound like. I think you can make them in time as well, can't you? Align beats to project and wait for project to play. Somebody's doing some work in my garden, that's my son. So excuse, it's not me farting, it's a drill, honest. Maybe a bit noisy. You see, all these things are done for you. You know, there are people that sort of say, oh, wow, I like to make my own. It's like, yeah, if you want to spend 4 hours doing what you can get in one sample in a couple of seconds, crack on. Like I said yesterday in the first live stream, I'm all about making music. I'm not about making sounds. If I can find a sound that's already made, which fits, that's what I'm going to do. And that's the hottest tip I can give anyone. Don't worry about it. It's not cheating. It's not like somehow that you're some kind of cheater. And like you've noticed I'm using presets in pretty much all of this track at some point. But I'm making it my own, and that's the key. Make it your own. Don't just copy stuff. Make it your own. And if you do that, no one can accuse you of being a cheat. You know. And even if they do, so what? I don't care. Maybe I'm too long in the tooth. I just don't care anymore about any of that. But anyway. That's a 16-bar one. A bit too mental. That might work. Now this one I love a lot because it's just the 909. Do you know what? That's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to use that. We'll put that over there like that. It's going to be well loud. So there you go. In a few minutes, I've got a drum roll, and you could do this drum roll by yourself. You could get a 909 drum, put it in a sampler, put the notes into there, and then do the velocities. Like that's how we used to do it. Why? Why do you want to do it when you've got one already made? It is cheating, but in a good way. So now I want an upriser to go with that. So back to that folder we first looked at, which was. I can't remember. Can anyone remember what it was? Vengeance, wasn't it? Vengeance. Was it effects or was it ultimate bass? Ultimate fills. I think it was effects. No, maybe not. I knew I'd forget that. I knew I'd forget it. What was it? Club sounds. That's another thing I hate. It's my fault because I should tag these folders, and another thing I can't be arsed with. To my detriment sometimes. What was it? Ultimate fills. Ultimate fills. Cheers, Slick Tracks. I don't know if it was though because I've just been in there. Snares, VX fills, wasn't it? Is that it? I think that was it. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it was. Well done, son. Well done. after all that, it's probably nothing I'm going to use. No, they're all a bit too sort of sci-fi. Well, it's alright, we'll find one, don't worry, we'll find one. We'll go to, let's try Club Sound 5. Effects. Uplifters. It's very tonal, it's got an E major in it, don't want to do that. 16 bars long, but it doesn't matter, we can shorten it if we need to. Might do it, that might do. Let's try it out. Chuck it in the track. We want the end of it there. We'll just shorten it. Do a volume. Make sure it's not blasting our ears out. Still got it playing on here, and I duh. Works for me. It's hanging over the end there a little bit. That's okay. We'll just cut that short, like that. When the boom hits, it does want a bit more of a, so we can find a down lifter for that to add to that. We also want a crash cymbal when it hits. Let's find a down lifter for it. Down lifters. Pretty good. I like the first one. I like the first one. It's a bit long, so we can shorten it. It's no stress. We just bring that down like that. Do the volume like that. Probably want to do the same with that. And there you go. And if you use them in the right sort of places, they work. You don't want to do it too much. I mean, I'll try putting it through the track in what I call obvious places where I think it would go. But we can always take them out if it's too much. Where are we up here, lengthwise? We don't know what we're doing with the end of this track yet. So maybe try right at the start of the track to see if those booms work. I don't know if it will. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. In this instance, they do. want another kind of drum roll in there, just a short one. What was that? It's just one bar, isn't it? Now, shall I use... I could just make one, I suppose. But I am really lazy. Let's go to something like Vengeance 3 and see what fills we've got, if there are any fills. Here we go. Ooh, ooh, let's try that. Bit of old school. That's 2 bars, it's not 1 bar. That's all right. Let's try that. And we'll put in maybe the end of that in there. Let's try that. There you go. So it's still a bit loud in the mix, but you get the idea. Let's try another whoosh in there. And I said be careful how often you use these, but you know, you have to use them as necessary wherever it works. Now I've got that breakbeat in there, that sort of aiming, I might put that in the end there. If we do that, what does that do? Take the off bass out. I like it. It sounds a bit boxy, so let's EQ that while we've still got it fresh in our minds. Quite feeling that, mate, quite feeling that. I like the fact that it's only in sort of a couple of times as well. That may change, but we'll see. That's the wrong crash, we want a single crash on there.
Different boy, a different girl.
Yeah, loving all that. And that, at the moment anyway, seems like all the effects you're going to need. We'll see, but at the moment it's looking good. Now, earlier on I mentioned another vocoder vocal, which I think is on my desktop. It should be. Or did I put it? No, breathe parts, isn't it? There we go, it's these two here. I don't know how much difference there are in these.
Girl, different boy, a different girl. I'm hearing your brain.
No, that's that one. Right, so all I need is this one. So we'll bring it in. Error, what? What? It's a WAV file. It's a WAV file that is 44.1. What? I've never come across that before. Error, medium type not supported or invalid medium. What? That's that Al Storm giving me weird, funky files. Try one more time. It's not having it. That is weird. Let's get rid of that. We'll try doing it manually. What is it? File, import, audio file. And then we have to navigate to it, so it's desktop, breathe parts. Was it that one or the other one?
Brain.
The other one. Select that, open. Error on importing media. Oh well, I'm not going to be able to use that then. I have to message him to try and get me to send that. I wanted to use that underneath because it's a vocoder of the actual vocal. I'm not sure I want to go all the way into making my own because it takes ages to get that right.
Different boy, a different girl.
Plus actually thinking about, does it actually need it? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, so from the top, let's have a quick listen. Right, that whoosh is a little bit loud, and also it wants EQing, which I forgot to do on all of these things I've just imported. So we loop it. It's a little bit harsh up that end because it's sort of what is it, bit depth, bit crushed, and you can see the peaks up here. It's a little bit mental, so just bring it down a little bit, just calm it down a little bit, and we'll turn that, we'll make that into a shelf, I think. Might be better to use that Soothe plugin. Let's try that. Soothe. Need to use it quite deep. Yeah, I think that might do it. It's a bit better than using the EQ because it makes it a bit too dead. But we want to, for reasons I explained in the other video yesterday, we want all of this gone. There's no point in having it in there. Better. Okay, from the top, let's listen. kick out of that drop. So we just have the last kick on the bar. So now on that bit there, we do want another boom, but not something as full on as the one we. Well, I don't think so. Anyway, let me chuck it in and see what it sounds like. Oh, no, it's alright. There you go, nice and easy.
We come from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me. Thought our love could never be. Now we're walking hand in hand. Thought our love could never be. Now we're walking hand in hand. Across the sea, across the sand. In the darkness of the night, I'm hearing you breathe, I'm feeling alright.
Don't want to boom when it kicks in.
from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me. Thought our love could never be. Now we're walking hand in hand, across the sea, across the sand, in the darkness of the night. I'm hearing you breathe, I'm feeling alright.
I like it. I'm liking it. Right, so now what I want to do is, I do this quite a lot. I want to try it at least in this. The end note of the vocal. I'm going to take a snippet of that. Just probably that much. Copy it over, bounce it so it's its own separate sample. I'm sort of making this up as I go along, so be a bit patient. Hang on, I just want to see if it works at all. Create instrument, and I want to use that Vengeance sampler, Phalanx single. I can't remember, I think you can just drag and drop. I should be able to just drag that into there. Yeah, there we go. Right, now. There we go. I'll get rid of that now. You know, some sort of weirdness like that. Now, what this is, let's turn it down a bit. So you sort of did I took a snippet out of one note of the vocal, put it in a sampler. Now there's a thing in, I don't know whether this is on other samplers, there's this thing called retrigger, and right, you can automate that to get faster and faster as it plays. So that's the idea around in my head. I don't know whether it's going to sound right or not, but let's try it. Let's try it. This is C3, and we want it on each beat. So we put this in quarters. C, wasn't it? We'll just draw in a line of C. They'll probably be too long, those notes. I don't know. We could have them shorter. Well, they like a 16th. Select all, Command T, note lengths. Eighths. Yeah. So probably on the end we want to speed them up to double speed. So if we glue those two together, just select them all and then copy, which is Alt, and then move over. There you go. Probably have to shorten those notes now. So it punctuates them. What are we in eighths? So 16s. And then we'll do the same right at the end. Just double them up. Leave those all joining. That's where we're going to do the majority of that re-trigger. Well, that's the plan anyway. So. kind of thing. Be a little bit more precise about it, a bit smoother. There you go. Probably, can we put this back that way so it starts a little bit earlier? Try that. Yeah, it kicks in a bit late, doesn't it? So we start from there and then have it start in there, maybe. Yeah, like that. But I think it's also going to want to be pitch bend up as well. So best way to do that, we can automate that as well, because we've got a transpose and a fine tune. Which would be the best to use? Yeah, the transpose, not the fine tune, the transpose. So just, if we touch that there. Okay, now we've got that. We can draw it in how we want. Oops. And we'll do it the same length. We'll have it go, see what it sounds like. I don't know, might be a bit too much. Yeah, what we'll do, we'll actually stop it. We'll stop it on there like that. And then the rest of the track on that end bit will cut. So let me just... And we'll put our break beat in there. Yeah! You know, our little aiming break that we had at the intro. What harm could that possibly do? Put it back on bar. Yeah, I'm not looking. I'm just looking at the chat. Yeah, I know the beep is something else. It's not what I was trying to find. It was it's something else I was hearing. But anyway, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. There's a... It is going to bug me, that is. There's a high pitched sort of click in there. It's not a click, it's where the drumstick's hitting either the hi-hat or a cymbal or something. And it's really poking out and I can't... I think I'm going to be able to do much about it. I'll just live with it. Hold on. Let's make sure that starts on a bar because that makes life easier. Now, after this first section,
Different boy, a different girl. Wake up from wake up. Different boy, a girl. Different boy. Different boy, a different girl. Wake up from different worlds. Though you never notice me. But I could never be.
we'll have the pads and all that in with that, I think. Maybe even the piano might be a bit too much, but we'll try it. Oh, for God's sake.
Different boy, a different girl.
Copied the wrong thing and I won't want that in there. this isn't a popular thing that most people do, but the way I mix when I DJ, I have the bass drop out totally because I time it so that when the bass of the new track coming in kick, when it hits, the bass on the outgoing track drops out. Now I basically play mostly my own stuff in most of my sets, so therefore I tailor it so that it all just drops and comes in when I want it to. So that's why at the end of here the bass will just drop out to nothing. Because when I'm mixing in, I'm going to mix from when that vocal starts. I'm going to push play on the new track coming in when that vocal starts, right? So it'll play through, do a drum roll at the end, and then by the time that hits, the bass from the incoming track's going to come in. Now, I'm tempted to leave the vocal in, but that will limit what you can actually mix into, because obviously if what you're mixing in is completely out of tune to that vocal, you're not going to be able to do it. So you can do a couple of things. You can risk it and leave the vocal in, or you can just drop the vocal out and just have drums on the end and mix it in with that. Sometimes when you leave a vocal in and a new bass, a new track comes in underneath that's in a different key but it's not out of tune, it can sound awesome, but it can also sound like a car crash as well. So you've got to kind of take a risk assessment of how you want to do it. I don't know whether I'm going to leave the vocal in or not. I'll show you what I mean. It might be easier to like actually hear what I mean. So if I import one of my tracks, finished track, let me save it first. Save. Let me import a track of some. Let me see what I've got. Hold on. Here, connections. Here we go. Connections. We'll just so you're playing a live set. You've dropped this. It's playing, and you want to make a connection into it, which you'll all be able to do real soon because it'll be out. Shameless plug. Import this in. Okay, so I'm gonna have to manually mix this in, and right. So there you go. I mean, it's out of key, but kind of sounds cool, if you know what I mean. You know, that was connections. Let's try something else. I don't know. Let me see. There's a new track Here and Now that's a remix I've just done. It's on Scar Digital. It's Daniel Somer's thing. Let's try that. So we'd start mixing where that vocal comes in, so that's where it would be. Let's turn it down. So you get the idea. I've just noticed as well, I've already got that sample in here, the one that wouldn't load earlier. Wicked, I can use that. Anyway, you get the idea. So it says calculated risk. You can make it sound good in most cases. There will be tunes that you'll mix in by accident one day and it will just sound horrible. So just be careful with that. The other way, like I said, you could cut the vocal out totally so it's just drums on the end, which there's nothing wrong with that, you know. There's nothing wrong with doing it. I may even do that. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. So there you go. Right, I would have imported those tunes into this track, into this project, wouldn't it? So let's delete those. I don't know how to. Connections 2020. Remove unused media. That's what we want to do. Remove from pool. Remove to the trash, and then that's all the stuff that's not being used. So I can empty the trash, and it gets rid of it all. Be careful when you're doing that though. Make sure you don't need anything that's in there. Now I've said that, I probably will. Hang on, what am I doing? Empty trash. That's what I want to do. And then you've got the choice of just removing it or erasing it. I tend to erase it because it's, you know, one of them. Right, now this vocoder, which I didn't realise I had already, that might have been why it wasn't loaded. I don't know whether that would make a difference. What we will do is put on a separate track though. Now, what does it actually sound like?
Different boy, a different girl. We come from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me.
No, it's no good. I might not end up using this because I think it's because I've changed the chords as well. Let me just mute out the main vocal.
I'm hearing you breathe. Different boy, different girl. Different boy, different girl.
Yeah, it's not really.
Different boy, different girl.
Do you know what? I'm not going to use it. I don't think it's necessary.
Different girl.
So we've pretty much got the whole arrangement. It's a bit long on the end there, isn't it? We'll get to that. I'm pretty sure we're not going to need all of that, but if we do, we can add it later. In fact, no, we're definitely not. So just to put that on the end. I forgot to put the thing back on the bar, didn't I? See what I mean? It's easy to do. Crash and that boom all on the end. There you go, there's the end of your track. What are we, 4 minutes 13. So these days that's sort of about right, the length. It's changed a lot over the years, as you know. I can remember making tunes in the 90s and they were all 7 minutes. 7 minutes. And they've over time got less and less time track length wise. And now we're all sort of at 4 minutes. So I think arrangement wise, like generally speaking, as in intro, breakdown, kick in, vocal, outro, I think the arrangement's there. It just wants bells and whistles and stuff like that. So I don't know whether to continue this live stream, because I seem to be at a point now where it's going to be mixed down, which is another whole ball game. I don't know. Let me listen from the top. Hold on. Let's listen to the whole thing. Just going to try it out just to see. This last section before the main breakdown, I'm going to put the off basses that change key. Keep everything the same. I don't know whether it's going to work. It's the only way to know is to try it. So save, and then we can delete those and then select all of these, copy those over. It's going to require the pads as well to make it that much impact. Quite like it. what I'll do though, if I'm going to do it this way, this noise here, I'm going to make it a bit busier in this bit. Let's try and see if I can record. So I'm not going to record, I'm just going to play along for a second. Yeah, something like that, you know what I mean? Where to go. Something like that. Let's put that in and see if we can tweak it. We'll put that on 8. Let's see what it sounds like in context. So from the top.
Different boy, a different girl. We come from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me. Thought our love could never be.
And then it's just drums on the outro at the moment. Could make it, put the aim in all the way through the last section. It's not a bad thing, quite cool. So yeah, basic, I'm still not really happy with the drums. It doesn't sound banging enough. That clap's not really doing it. Maybe it's just a mix thing. Try and find like a 909 snare. I think that will make it sound really old school, but what have we got here? What are we using for that? That's a sampler, so we can copy that. Right, okay, I'll copy that clap. Where is it? Duplicate track. We'll call it snare now so we don't get confused. Oh, another little tip. If you just saw what I just did, I just changed the name. So by default, whatever you name this, when you record or put in new parts, it calls it that. However, when you want to change, so I've just duplicated that clap and now it's clap duplicate. That's what the D's for. I want to call it snare. So I double click it, type in snare, but if I just push return, it doesn't change your part names, which completely baffles me. Why did they just not do that? I don't know. However, what you can do is you type in what it's called, and if you hit like Command or Control or Alt and then push return. No, it's not that. Hang on, it's Command, isn't it? Command on a Mac, and you push return. See that? It's just changed all the part names. Another little stupid little quirk in Cubase, which, you know, why would they think if you're changing the name of the actual track channel, why would they think that you wouldn't want to change all your part names? I must be missing something, but there you go. So yeah, just hit Command when you hit return and then it will change all your part names. Another little tip. Right, so now we've got to find a snare, so we'll solo it and loop it. At the moment it's that clap sound, so some of the factory sounds that came with Phalanx are quite cool. Snares. Let's just try one of these for a minute. Now I've got EQ's going to be out of whack as well, isn't it? rubbish on its own, but in the mix, oh, it's just transposed down 5 as well, isn't it? That'll help it. Quite like that. What's it sound like from the top? When does it come in? It comes right in from the start. So we don't want it in the first section. Probably when the kick comes in we want it. I think it's a mix down thing, whereas the track's not mixed, but now I've added that snare in, it gives it a little bit more weight. So yeah, I think, basically speaking, that is it. Now, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Do I want to start a mix down now? Not really, because I know it's quite involved. So I think I'm probably going to leave it here for now, and then do a separate video of the mix down, maybe a series of videos, because it's quite a long process, or can be, and to give you all the details that you're going to need might take a few videos. I have to think about it. I have to think about what's going on. Anyway, I think that's probably it, unless somebody's got anything they want to ask me on the live chat. I'll hold on for a few minutes. If you want to ask me something, put it in the comments, well, in the live chat. If you're not watching this live, you want to ask me something, ask in the comments. I'll get back to everybody I possibly can. What else do I need to say? Oh, obviously like, subscribe, share, all of the rest of that. Share, subscribe to the channel is really important. It can really help me out. Doesn't cost you anything. It's a brilliant thing. Check all the links down in the description for all my social medias, especially the Patreon, which if you don't know what Patreon is, click it, go and check it out, have a little read, see what's what. I'm going to play the track once again all the way through, and then if there's no questions and everything, I'll click off, and then we can I'll set up a way of doing the mix down. I don't know how yet. I'll have to think about it. So I'll give you all a few minutes to, if you want to ask me anything. If not, it's cool. It's cool, because you know, I could just click off and that'll be the end of the session. So I'll play it once through, and then that'll be that. Wicked.
Different boy, a different girl. We come from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me. Thought our love could never be. Now we're walking hand in hand. Across the sea, across the sand. In the darkness of the night, I'm hearing you breathe, I'm feeling alright. Different boy, a different girl. We come from different worlds. Thought you'd never notice me. Thought I could never be.
Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, leave your comments down below, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get informed of all new videos that I put up. Ones I probably mentioned earlier on, I'm probably going to do one on compression, probably one on EQ, and then obviously we're going to mix down this track. I don't know what format that's going to take yet, whether it will be a series of videos or one big long video. We'll see what we can come up with. Any ideas, any sort of comments at all, don't forget, leave down below. And don't forget to like this video and all my videos, actually. Watch all my videos that I've put up, like them all, comment on them all, share them everywhere you can think of, whatever you want to do. So with that being said, I'll catch you all very soon, probably next weekend, actually, because I'm busy all week. So it'll probably be next weekend. So peace.